Howdy guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. So last night we put the transfer case back together. We're still waiting on a couple seals. We can pull the 68 RFE adapter plate and the flex plate off the back of the truck. We'll do that, and then we got a neat little install. We're going to be installing another part from Fleece Performance. So we'll go over what's in the box and all that now, and then we'll pull out the adapter plate and the flex plate, and we'll get forward with this install. Alright guys, so here's our Fleece Coolant bypass for our 6.7 Cummins. Oh, we got the koozie, nice little sticker, and then here's the goods. So here's everything that's included in the kit. Like I said, Fleece gave us a nice koozie and a nice sticker to put wherever. The kit does come with instructions, so that's nice. A lot of companies anymore, it seems like you gotta go on the line to find out what you gotta do. So here's our adapter block. This will go, and you'll see this when we install it. This will go between the stock thermostat housing and the head of the truck. There's that. Then there's the block for the back. This will go on back of the head and bolt up. It has a thermostat in it, and so this, like I said, this will bolt to the back of the head. If you have a 68 RFE truck, and you'll see this when we pull the adapter plate, you actually have to pull the top bracketry off of that. For whatever reason, the 68 RFEs have an additional bracket on the top of the adapter plate that is not there on like a 5.9 truck. I don't know if it's just 4th gens. I'm assuming it's all 6.7s. So that has to come off in order to put this on. So you'll see that. And then we got a nice braided AN line to connect the two. And then we have our little brackets and all our hardware we need. And they even provide you with a Scotch-Brite pad for cleaning things up. So, oh, I forgot one thing. So I've forgotten something. I also got a Gates thermostat. This is a 190-degree thermostat. These 6.7s tend to run a little hotter. I guess it's because of the emissions and the EGR stuff. So they run, I think with this truck I was saying like between 200 and 210 degrees is what it would run. That's a little hotter than I think it probably should be. I know there's some debate about whether they're more efficient or they run better, cooler or hotter. So I had emailed Fleece when I did the coolant bypass on this gray truck, and they had recommended and said a lot of their guys switch over to a 190-degree thermostat. So that's what we're going to be doing. Also, the truck's got 150,000 miles on it. It's something cheap to replace and change out while we're in there. So we're going to decrease the temperatures of the motor a little bit. The point of the coolant bypass is to keep the head a constant temperature. I guess that's not really the right way to say it. It's just to keep it all evenly cooled. So the factory way it is from the factory, the front cylinders will be cooler than the rear two, especially 5 and 6. Now in the factory form, the rear two cylinders, 5, 6, and 4, I think actually is where it is. I think it's between 4 and 5, but the exhaust manifold exits there. So to me it makes sense that those would be cooled by that. You know, they're not going to get as hot. There's not exhaust gas kind of lingering around. Whether that really is a thing or not, I'm not sure. It's just kind of me thinking. But anyhow, this will allow coolant to flow in through the back of the head. We'll actually have to knock a freeze plug out to do it. And it just keeps the head evenly at an even temperature. So I know there are some shops actually that they will do a head gasket fix, but they won't warranty it unless you have a coolant bypass. So it's just good protection, especially if you're getting higher horsepower, higher cylinder pressures, more heat. So it's just it's a nice fix. And Fleece makes a hell of a kit. Everything's nice, machined, and you know, it looks good and bolts right up. So without further ado, we're going to pull that adapter plate, pull the flex plate, and then we will start this install. As you can see, the flex plate's out pretty easy. I did forget to tell you that we're gonna have to pull the starter out in order to pull this adapter plate. Remember, we have no batteries in the truck, so we can just pull that out. If you're doing this on yours, make sure you disconnect the batteries, because yeah, it is pretty easy with those terminals to put it to ground. You know, the hot side to ground. So we'll do that, and then we'll get to our bypass. Here's our adapter plate. Like I said, had to pull these two side brackets off in order to get it installed. We're gonna have to relocate our breather for our transfer case. Not that we're gonna be going through any mud or anything, but I do want to drive it on the street, so we're gonna keep that. We'll have to relocate that. But like I said, this bracket has to come off if you're doing a coolant bypass. You see this piece right here? It goes right here. So, as you can see, we have to knock this freeze plug out in order to get this Fleece Coolant bypass thermostat housing, I guess you would call it, in there. So we're going to work on that now. To get this freeze plug out, you don't want to necessarily hit it in the center. That'll drive the whole thing in. You just kind of want to work it on the edge and spin it. Alright, so as you can see, it just kind of snaps out. This is very easy with the transmission out. With the transmission in, not so much. So we're going to clean this hole up and install our thermostat housing. So now we just have our bolting, which is 18mm heads. That's another thing, as you guys can see. When you put this in, if you don't have the transmission out and have this access that we have, you got to watch this ground wire that you don't pinch it behind the housing. I struggled with that a little bit when I did it on the 12, because I did it with the transmission in, once again. So, just another thing to be mindful of. So the next part of this is we actually have to take this thermostat housing off and then install this spacer. All right, so we cleaned up both surfaces of the thermostat housing, the piece we pulled off and the piece on head. So here's our Gates thermostat. As you can see, it's 190. The factory one is 200 degrees, if you can see that. So we're gonna get rid of that, throw this 190 one in, and then we'll put this housing on and continue with our install. Another thing to note with this housing, of course you want this AN fitting going toward the back of the motor, but there's an O-ring up top. On the bottom, it is actually sealed by the thermostat itself. So that'll just go on like so. And with these 3 bolt holes, Fleece actually provides you with 3 new bolts. So we'll go ahead and bolt the radiator hose, well, the thermostat housing, the top of that will bolt back up to this block, connect our AN line. Alright guys, so that's the Fleece Performance Engineering Coolant Bypass install on our 2010 Cummins. I'm pretty sure the install on all the common rails is pretty similar. There might be little differences, like if you have a 5.9, you probably don't have that bracket in the back to deal with that we did on our 68 RFE truck. So, also, Fleece provides these nice little brackets, or not brackets, clamps, you know, to get everything in line, keep it away from the exhaust manifold. They also make a billet version that you can buy on their website. So if you have a vehicle that you're, say, doing more of a show quality build rather than something like ours or a daily driver, or you just want to spruce up your engine compartment, check those out. We're one step closer to completing our build. The sun is very bright in my eyes. Get out in the garage, get the wrench in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.